Hi, Daftry here. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is an action-adventure game developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts. I recently finished a playthrough of the game and decided to put together a short video to share my thoughts and pass on some useful tips you might benefit from if you're thinking of playing the game yourself. First, let's talk a little bit about the game. The story takes place between episodes 3 and 4 and centres around Cal Kestis. Cal is a former Jedi Padawan who somehow managed to escape the Emperor's purge of the Jedi several years previously and has been in hiding ever since. An unfortunate accident leads to Cal using the Force to save a friend from a deadly fall, and this is enough to attract the attention of the Imperial Inquisitors. Cal ends up on the run, which quickly turns into a quest to potentially restore the Jedi Order. On this quest, Cal is aided by Seer, a former Jedi, Grease, a Latero and captain of the Stinger Mantis, and BD-1, a cute droid. Jedi Fallen Order is a great game with an engaging storyline, the combat is fun, and the game has a straightforward yet interesting skill progression system. So let's talk a bit about the basics. Evade. There are two types of evade, single tap, precision, and double, full. Precision needs better timing but seems to give more counter opportunities. You can combine the evades into a triple by using a single tap followed by a double tap. Parry. If timed correctly, a parry can briefly stun an attacker, draining their stamina slightly and allowing you to counter. Once an enemy's stamina bar is empty, it leaves them briefly unable to block your attack, so this is a good time to launch that power strike. Note that stamina recharges quite quickly, so take the opportunity when it presents itself. This also works both ways. For example, Cal's stamina will be drained if you just hold the block rather than time a parry. Although there are several ways to defeat each enemy, I would recommend practicing your parry early on against every melee opponent you can. Effective parrying is pretty much essential in one or two of the later boss fights. Getting the hang of when to parry and when to evade are key to dealing with the different opponents you will encounter. Most enemies have three main moves. Some moves can be parried or blocked, but power moves, where the enemy glows red, cannot. Some moves can be interrupted if you time your attack correctly or use an appropriate force ability. Many enemies often leave themselves exposed to a counterattack after you evade their power attack, so evading followed by an immediate counterattack can be an effective strategy. In many of the main boss fights, enemies will start using different abilities as their health meters drop below certain levels. This keeps fights interesting and fluid and forces you to adapt, as moves that worked earlier on in an encounter are no longer effective. One thing to note is that while jumping is useful for avoiding some very specific enemy moves, I often got caught out by attacks where I was trying to jump out of the way where evading would have been more successful. Generally, I found evade to be a much better option in most situations. Meditation points are located around several areas of the map. When you interact with a meditation point, your progress is saved. If you die before reaching a meditation point, certain dialogue elements may need to be completed again, but you don't need to revisit chests and secrets. Resting at a meditation point restores your health and stim packs. Stim packs are essentially your medikits. The downside of resting, or upside depending on how you look at it, is that enemies respawn, so this can lead to additional experience points. Using the various workbenches positioned at certain points of the game allows you to unlock several very useful functionality upgrades for BD-1 and Cal's lightsaber. Workbenches also work in the same way as a meditation save point without the rest option, and workbenches are also used to customize the appearance of your lightsaber. This is cosmetic only. Secrets. The first type of secret are these blue glowing orbs, and along with workbenches, these are the items you really don't want to miss. There are two types of orb that either increase your total health or your total force power, and you need to collect 3 of each type to level up in each area. The other type of secret are large gold-coloured chests with cylinders that pop out of the top. These contain additional stim packs and the maximum you can carry is 10. Chests. These unlock new poncho styles and several outfit colours for Cal. They also contain skins for BD-1 and the Mantis. Items recovered from chests are cosmetic only. Some chests are locked, requiring you to repair BD-1's scomp link in order to access them. Force Echoes. Cal has a special ability that allows him interesting insights into the thoughts and memories of people who previously interacted with objects he touches. There are numerous echoes scattered throughout the game that do a good job of adding atmosphere and context to some of the areas you visit. Story-triggered force abilities. There are several areas in the game that unlock new force abilities that enable Cal to access additional areas and perform additional moves in combat. 3D map. I really didn't pay enough attention to this early on, but really started to find it valuable once I understood how it worked. Objectives, if not immediately obvious, are usually clearly marked in the map interface. Yellow markers show paths that are accessible to Cal but that have not been explored yet, and green markers show accessible paths that have previously been explored. To minimise the amount of times you have to revisit a location during the playthrough, I recommend exploring all yellow paths and looking for things like rope swings before moving on to the next area. Percentage explored, number of chests and secrets. This is really good for working out if you have collected all of the loot from a particular area. Chests and secrets are not visible on the map and some need specific abilities to be unlocked. Difficulty. The difficulty levels in Jedi Fallen Order mainly affect the amount of damage enemies deliver and how hard it is to time a parry correctly. Having never played this type of game before, I opted for the Jedi Master difficulty, which is the second hardest.
Ouch.
Some of the early fights and later bosses did still prove a challenge, but once I had leveled up Cal and worked out how to deal with most of the enemies, the majority of encounters were very straightforward. I would probably recommend playing on Grandmaster if you are good at or have already played this type of game before.
Cal, you there?
Yeah.
Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed my playthrough of this game. The story and characters are really good and the combat and gameplay was fun. The graphics and sound are excellent and I came across very few minor bugs on the PC version even straight after release. That's all I have time for right now. I hope you enjoyed this guide. If you made it this far and would like to see more videos like this in the future, please leave a like and subscribe, it would really help me out. Remember to click the bell if you want to be notified when I post something new. Until next time, take care of yourself and may the Force be with you.